You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Gossip Girl After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Gossip Girl After Show.
What's up, Gossip Girl fans? We are back. We are back. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another AfterBuzz TV After Show for Gossip Girl Season 5, Episode 23, The Fugitive, and we'll also be talking about the episode from last week, tying it in a little bit because we were out of studio. Apologies. But before we do anything else, I am Roxy Striar, along with Stephanie Wenger and Jessica King.
So glad to be back.
And we have Ronnie and Marissa in the booth. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Let's win in there.
All right.
We're not running the show alone, so I know they're in there.
Sorry, I was on your guys' iTunes page, as I always do. I was appreciating all the rating and comment. Roxy, you know that's kind of what I was doing right now.
Oh, that was such a good segue.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Ronnie's on iTunes, which means all the cool kids are doing it. Here's what we need you to do as a favor to us. If you like our show, which if you're still watching at this point,
Obviously you do.
I'm hoping you do, go to iTunes, give us that 5-star, comment away, tell us what you're liking, what you're not liking, talk about the show, talk to us, however you want to do it. Also, YouTube. YouTube was kind of on the fritz this week. I hear we're back in action. Yeah, Ronnie, YouTube is now working.
Yes, YouTube, we are making it happen, so just stay posted. Actually, they should be up by tonight. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So YouTube, so iTunes, YouTube, and of course, we love communicating with you guys through Twitter. So I like to say at the top of the episode, in case you want to tweet to us, where can we find you guys?
At Stephanie Wenger.
At I am Jessica King.
And in the booth?
Mine is at Ronnie Jr. Media.
Awesome. And I'm at Roxy Striar. So if you want to tweet at us, tell us what you're thinking. Anytime throughout the week, we always respond, I swear. Yeah, exactly. So we have a lot to talk about.
So much to talk about.
We've got a couple episodes to talk about. I'm kind of freaking out here, guys. I mean, my mind, first of all, is all jumbled. I'm in finals week. I've got so much going on with Gossip Girl. It's like everything's crossing paths. So if I stray off track, steer me back on. Stay with me. Guys, what do we think about how everything is going with the Bart and being alive and this whole situation where Chuck's parents we didn't know who his mom was and we didn't know who his dad was, and now we know that Bart's alive, and I'm so confused.
Crazy.
Once
crazy.
again, I am so confused.
I don't know. It's like I'm not usually a big fan of the whole bringing characters back to life thing. I mean, Bart was
Soap
killed
opera.
off. I know, and that's why I don't watch them.
Mm-hmm.
Bart was killed off like so many seasons ago. Like I can't even remember the last time I saw him. It wasn't even like it was just last season or
Right.
something.
Absolutely. And I feel like we've been so good at predicting the show all season long. And then this was definitely something.
Boom.
Yeah, I did not see it coming that this was where it was going. I had all these other predictions in my head, but that was definitely not one of them. So I give it to the Gossip Girl writers for
And I have to say,
coming up
it
with something
kept
new.
me hanging in there, because as soon as Blair saw him and was like, oh my gosh, say it isn't so, and then they left us just hanging for the rest of the episode, I was like, what is it? Tell us. So I mean, it caught my attention. It kept me interested. I shut down my computer. I was like, I gotta focus on
know.
this. Like, what's going on? But then I was like, and I totally, my jaw dropped and I was like, what? In awe, I guess. But I mean,
You're very animated tonight. I'm loving it. It's awesome.
I know.
Here's what I have to
That's
say.
what Gossip Girl does to me.
Obviously, that's why we're here. Here's what I have to say. Overall, last week I thought killed it. I really wanted to come and we all wanted to talk about it. I mean, there was so much that was going on. And then this week for me was like, oh my God, there's too much. It's just too much sensory overload. So many storylines. I mean, I just feel like when I started the episode, last night's episode. I was watching it, and then 10 minutes in, they started playing some sort of music. It seemed like to me outro music, and there was so much drama, and I was like, are the 45 minutes up yet or whatever?
Yeah.
And then I realized I was only 7 minutes in. We get to the next commercial. The same exact thing kept happening to me. It's like before every commercial break, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's over.
That's so funny that you say that, because that's exactly what happened to me. We got to like that first commercial break, I think 10 minutes in, and I was like, whoa, that was only 10 minutes?
Right.
How did we fit that much in, and how are they all going to tie it up?
What's part of that is good because they're throwing a lot of drama at us, but part of it's bad because the last thing in the world I want to feel like is when I'm watching a show that it's too long. Mm-hmm. You know, usually I'm like, give us more, give us more. It's not long enough. I feel like they're throwing so much stuff in here that spread it out a little bit, man.
Well, I have to go back to what I was saying a couple weeks back, that with only 2 episodes left, I think now there might only be, 1 or 2 episodes left. And with so many storylines opening up every episode, I really find it hard to believe that this is going to be the last season of Gossip Girl.
Well, yeah, we have a little, oh no, I know I have news and gossip about it, but I don't have the sheet here. We'll do that in commercial.
I think I also saw, I mean, I'm sure that we're in news and gossip as well, but I think Chase Crawford was saying that they might do like an abbreviated season next year.
That is in there, which I should have printed, and now I need to go.
We'll figure it out during
somebody.
commercial.
We will figure it out. But I mean, there's a lot going on. And like we were saying, there's surprises, and we never could have predicted that, even though a lot's predictable. So overall, are we liking the way this season is turning, or are we getting kind of down on it?
I like it. I mean, it's a lot to take in. I completely agree. But I think, like, if you're
up for the challenge.
Yeah, if you're going to go big, like, they're going really big with it. Mm-hmm. And it'll be interesting to see if they leave it with loose ends. I think next week is the season finale. Or if they, try to tie it all up because they're not sure what's happening with next season.
What do you think?
I started out saying I'm not usually a big fan of the whole rising from the dead, but I didn't get to say I did enjoy this. I like that we are getting to see a more sensitive side of Chuck again, because I like that side of him. And I mean, I don't like to see him like hurting, and he's obviously in a lot of pain with this whole who are my parents thing, but I felt like his storylines were kind of lacking. And so I'm glad that they're giving him that spotlight again, because I love his storylines.
I don't think it's the storylines that are a problem for me. I hate to be a negative Nancy, but I mean, again, this isn't news and gossip, but it's no surprise that Gossip Girl isn't doing that well right now in the ratings. So, I mean, we'll talk about how poorly they are actually doing later, but I think I'm with the rest of America right now. And I feel like, yes, there are great storylines going on, but I don't know. It kind of just seems like same old or too much. No? I mean, I enjoy talking about the show here with you guys for many reasons, but mostly because I actually need to comprehend what's going on. I need to come to AfterBuzz TV because there's so many questions I have, and I'm like, did I miss something? Is it, whoa, like what's going on?
There were moments, sorry to go ahead, but there were moments last week where I definitely felt like, last night when I was watching it, that I needed to like rewind. I wanted to like watch it again because I wasn't sure what was happening.
I gotta say, I watched the episode twice. I mean, I watched last night, and then I had to buy it on iTunes today. Because I was like, I can't do the show. I cannot adequately host the show because I was like, what happened?
Yeah. I think the problem for me is that, they have all of these bombs dropping, and in the moment I'm just like, oh my gosh, whoa, like, especially because it's usually ending on that, and you're just like, what just happened?
Right.
And then when I think back to it, like a couple days later or a little bit later, I'm like, wait, what? Like, that was so, I don't know. Like, you don't know what to think of it because they're going to such extremes now. And like you said, it's soap opera-y, and it's just not what Gossip Girl usually has to do. They don't have to like really like try so hard for those storylines and for that audience, and now they're really having to like dig into their bag of tricks.
I feel like they're not trusting enough in their characters, that the characters are enough, like that's why we keep coming back, because we love the people, which of course makes me want to go back to season 1, and everything was so amazing there. And how are we going to go back to season 1? We're going to buy it on
iTunes.
No. Close though.
Well, you're going to buy it on Amazon.
Yes, we are.
First,
Jessica,
you're going to go to
buy
the AfterBuzz TV website and click the Amazon link, and there you go.
Yeah, so although we all were a little confused, and you could buy it on iTunes, and if you're already on iTunes, you could 5-star rate us. But if you so choose to have them sent to you, because some people like the old-fashioned DVD.
Exactly.
I don't even know if they make VHS Gossip Girl,
Yeah,
but
I don't know
who
if that ever
knows?
existed,
But
but-
of course, again, like we were saying, in case you haven't heard us say it yet, you go to AfterBuzz TV, like you were just talking about. You click on the link. It doesn't cost you an extra penny. It takes 2 extra seconds, and we actually get some of the proceeds, which don't go to us hosts, actually go to keeping the lights on in this building. So if you want to keep seeing us here, and you're already planning on getting something off Amazon, help us out.
Help us out a little bit.
Okay, so
Great.
this whole Bart thing is tied in somehow, I'm still confused, clearly, with Diana. Now, I've got to lay out a bunch of questions for you guys right now. Number 1, none of this seems to change the fact that Elizabeth, and I'm not talking about Hurley, I'm talking about Elizabeth, the mom, was pregnant in a photograph with Jack Bass. So, did we just forget about that? Is Jack still maybe the father? No, because then they wouldn't have brought back Bart.
No, I
Elizabeth
think
the
it'll
mo-
still
what's
come
going
up.
on?
I have no idea what's
What is
going on.
going
I
on?
don't know.
Figure it
I
out.
don't know. I don't know
I
what's
need
going
answers.
on. I can't answer your question, but I do think that it's definitely going to come up again. I don't think the Jack thing is just going to be like left in the shadows.
No,
Okay.
I think by bringing back his father, or what is supposedly his father, and then you have Jack, I think you're opening up for, you know, a whole slew of who is my father, who's my mother. Let's figure it out once and for all.
father.
Thank you. Yes, that's
That come from
exactly
you?
it.
Oh my God, I was like, Ronnie, you pulled up that sound cue quick. Holy crap.
I have many voices.
What? One more time?
I am your father.
That was good.
Bravo.
Wait, okay, so we also saw originally that Bart Bass had a photograph of Elizabeth Hurley, Diana, in his drawer. I still don't really understand how they know each other. We just know that they do, and that she was helping him stay safe.
It was, didn't he mention that it was like the industry, or not industry, but like the connections that she had and that she could protect him?
Like through
But-
prostitution?
Yeah, I don't think that's the true story. I
No,
think that's his
but-
alibi.
See, you guys are freaking confused too.
Yeah, I feel like I'm
Well,
as
with Gossip
confused, and
Girl-
it's getting more confusing.
And the
With
more we
Gossip
talk
Girl, they
about
never
it-
tell us the true story up front. It's always like there's a story, but then there's another story behind it. That's
And
kinda
behind
like
that story?
Yeah, there's the
there's-
truth.
my
Exactly.
friend texted me last night and said, "Do you think that he had an affair with Diana?" And I was like, that opened a whole nother can
Who,
of-
Jack Bass or Bart Bass?
Bart Bass.
Had an affair with Diana
From Lily?
while he was married
Yeah.
To
wait,
Lily or
with-
Chuck's mom?
to Chuck's mom.
I'm glad my friend could make it more confusing.
You guys want to
for
know
us.
how long it's been since I've seen Bart Bass? That I had to, as I was watching IMDb him, to make sure it was the same guy that used to play him originally.
He looks that different to you?
Yeah.
He
you
looks
just didn't
different. I
remember.
thought he used to look older.
You're like, I can't believe they recast him.
Yeah, I was like, isn't he working on other projects or something?
Yeah, well, so was anybody else blindsided again by this Diana prostitution thing?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
weird.
Let's break this down for a second, because that's what we do here at AfterBuzz TV. We break things down. Okay. Anyway, Diana, prostitution. She is the ringleader.
Yes. So
the gigolo.
rewinding a little bit.
This high class prostitution where people wear like really expensive lingerie and not the typical hoary outfit.
Yeah.
And it's in some mansion and it moves places. Am I getting this?
Well, also remember the fact that Nate started snooping in Diana's stuff because he wanted
The
to.
little red book.
Yes, so he found her planner, and it's all written in code. Like literally, she writes everything every day.
But obviously Blair can crack the code because
Of course, because
it's
Blair's just smart. And so what? She has this prostitution ring like every night at 9 o'clock, every Friday night or something.
But
Or
okay, confusing again because the way we found out about the prostitution thing was through this code every few
it
days,
was like
every
once
week,
a week.
Once a week there
at
was
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. There was a phone number of some other country. Mm-hmm. So how did that lead us to the prostitution?
It was like Chuck lived there for a little bit. It was it Portugal or something?
Mhm, Portugal.
And his nanny was from there or something. I don't know.
Right. So I was like, oh, we're going to Portugal,
Yeah.
and then we weren't
And
in
I'm not-
Portugal.
I don't remember
No,
how
we didn't
that
go to
really-
Portugal. I think, yeah, it had to do with that Chuck recognize the country code, and I don't know how he exactly knew the country code, because I'm like, that's not something that I feel like everyone's like regularly
Just knows.
Yeah.
Especially when he was young enough to have a nanny and he just remembers it from back then.
Well, I just don't understand from that to finding the house what one had to do with the other. Whatever.
Then they had to call and set up an appointment.
Oh, right. And he said,
So I think the code...
Exactly. He called that number and was like, I'm interested in your services. Where's the location?
Yeah.
I remember
and it was that easy.
So,
there you go.
So weird. So we see all these high-class hookers, prostitutes, and
Escorts.
and last week they decide to give Blair and Chuck a tour because Blair and Chuck are pretending that they want to have sex in like the greatest room possible, which is when that leaves us with finding Bart. And that moment, and Blair actually is the one who sends Chuck back in the house.
Yes.
And all of this, guys, makes me want to talk about, I hate Dan and Blair. I hate them. I can't hold it in any longer. I can't.
Oh my
I just am
gosh.
trying, and I hate them, and I know I'm supposed to save this for later in the episode, and we still need to talk more about Diana, but oh my God, I hate them. I hate
You
them.
don't hate them. You didn't hate them before.
I hate them. I hate them. I love Blair and Chuck. They need to be back together. And especially now because my little sister has started watching from episode 1. So now she's on season 3, and she's been texting me, being like, I swear to God, if Chuck and Blair don't end up together, I'm going to jump off a cliff. And I'm like, my sentiments exactly. And that's how I feel about that.
Man.
See, you know what's funny?
Alrighty, and now that we've covered that section of the show,
I love your strong, passionate feelings. I'm wondering if our phone call people, they might have some passionate feelings as well. AfterBuzz, hello.
Hey.
Susie, we got to talk to you about this. We got to talk. I mean,
I hate them too, Roxy. I hate them too.
What's going on? Why are they putting us through this pain and suffering? Why are they together still? Somebody talk to me.
well, you should be optimistic because this is obviously showing us that they're getting closer again. So if you look on the bright side of things,
I don't know. Susie, what do you think? I need your help.
Okay, Blair's obviously not going to say I love you because she said she wanted the next person she said it to be the last. And, I don't think it will be Dan. I mean, I liked them for, 1 or 2 episodes. It was cute, whatever. But
I really
with
tried.
the whole going to, with the whole going to Rome and, with the, everything going on, I don't know. I think Chuck and Blair are going to end up together. And next week, the season finale, I mean,
I will say I was not a fan of Dan's jealous side. I've never seen that side of him. And he's, showing a whole new...
the episode, not last night's episode, but the one, the brothel, whatever, episode, that I liked it as a whole. It was a really good episode as a whole, but then I got really nitpicky, and I was like, wait, why is Dan being so jealous? It's really annoying.
Following
he was,
her
creeping outside.
Okay,
And
the thing is, though, I completely agree with you guys that he was acting really jealous, and it was really annoying, but can you really blame him? I mean, Blair is spending a lot of time with her ex-boyfriend, who she has been known to go back to and leave every other guy for, and has been in love with for years and years.
Then just ask her.
Ask her what?
If she's hanging out with Chuck and why.
Yeah.
I mean, at least start with that. But he started with the jealousy and the stalking and the following and the suspicion. And I'm just not a fan of jealousy in relationships. I've never been a jealous person, so I guess I don't really see that side of it because I'm usually all for just being upfront about it.
I just felt like it was showing the ugly side of their relationship. At first you kind of saw the intellectual side and why they were together, why they were getting together, and then now you're seeing her kind of revert back to her old ways and scheming, and him being this jealous guy, and he was never that way with Serena, and so it's you're kind of seeing the ugly side of each of these characters.
I think he's now doing what all of them would do, and he's always been different from them.
Yeah, he's no longer the outsider.
He's not Lonely Boy. He's
Exactly.
not Brooklyn Boy anymore.
Yeah.
But speaking of Serena, I got to ask you guys, we finally, for a moment here, see a Darina moment. I mean, we've got the two of them together. Granted, Serena's pretending to be Blair. Did we think that Serena was trying to screw over Blair in her performance? I mean, she was very over the top, was like, oh my God, I hated him at first, but now we're lovers. Was she trying to
Yeah, that
screw
was
with them?
so weird.
Right.
I think there's still that part of her that loves him and is kind of a little jealous of Blair. And I feel like she's trying to play both sides. Like she's always telling, you know, Blair like, oh, he loves you, blah, blah. But then in reality, you know, like when you're telling a friend that you're like so proud of them or not proud of them, but you're happy for them, really like you wish that would have happened to you or something like that. I don't know. I feel like that's her.
That's kind of where I was at too with it. I was like, in some ways that she wanted to still be with him. And I think that that's what the interviewer picked up on, is that there's still this like lasting feelings, lasting chemistry between them.
What about between Dan's opinion of Serena? It just seems like to me, Serena still clearly has feelings for Dan, and Dan, I can't tell if he has anything back for her.
I feel like he's so caught up with Blair right now that he doesn't even know because he's not focused on that.
But you think he does?
But I think somewhere in there are still some feelings because they were like so in love, and that was like Dan's first love, and
that's what I was just about to say.
I feel like he never really
siblings. They're siblings.
Well, hey, Rufus and Lily are probably gonna get a divorce soon, and then we don't have to worry about that.
That and also, yeah,
you have problems.
Who gets the last laugh?
I will. Okay, but also with this entire situation, I mean, we see Serena leans in for like one too many kisses. I kind of think she needs to make up her mind whose side she's going to be on. Dan starts talking to her about his problems with Blair, and she's like, no. And he's like, maybe I should tell somebody else. And she's like, no, I'm ready. I can deal with this. But we think she's not ready.
Well, I was really proud of her and actually caught by surprise that she was backing Blair up, because I feel like they're usually like stabbing each other in the back so much that you never know. Especially with Serena, like if she does still have feelings for Dan, I feel like her typical character would be to somewhat stab Blair in the back a little, like, well, maybe she, you know, is going behind your back or something like that. So I was surprised, and you know, Blair and Serena had their little "you're my best friend" thing again. Like they always have their moments where it's like 1 minute they're best friends and the next minute they're not. So I was definitely surprised that Serena was standing up for Blair and was backing her up and was trying to convince Dan that this was a serious issue.
I agree, and I kind of feel like there was a lot of foreshadowing in this episode. I mean, we see there are multiple, if you go back, and only because I rewatched it like an absolute lunatic, but the I love you at the end, and Blair being like, the next person I say it to, I need to be the last person, I feel like that clearly means she's not going to tell Dan. You know, like we see them start mentioning it, or the two of them being so close, clearly shit's about to hit the fan. You know?
Oh, yeah, the writing's on the wall.
Right, so.
Well, I mean, we saw that at the end of the episode.
Or Diana texting Nate at the end, thank you, love.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. I just feel like we haven't seen the end of a lot of these stories. And Diana leaving, let's briefly talk about that. I mean, is that permanent? Why did Nate end up sticking up for her? How stupid could Nate and Lola be that they sent that tip right as he was giving that to Chuck? Like,
yeah.
At least wait 20 seconds after she leaves. I mean, come on.
Can I just throw in a quick mention of how annoyed I was that Charlie Ivy came back? Not happy about that.
It can't be, honestly, I'm sorry, it can't be a quick mention. We need to talk about it a little further. Charlie Ivy comes back and says, hi guys, I just want to be part of the gang again.
That was so cheesy. I was like, what?
And Blair responds and exactly puts her in her place, of course. I believe we have another call on the line. Ronnie, are we able to take two at once so we can have them both on? Great. What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Jean.
Hi, Jean.
Hi, I've been wanting to call in for so long, but I was too scared.
Oh my gosh, don't be scared.
Why are you scared?
I love callers.
Susie, we're friendly people, right?
Yes, it's my favorite part of the week, calling in.
So don't be scared to
No,
call
but
in.
this is like my heaven because I could talk about Gossip Girl literally for hours. So.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to get your overall opinion then on how the last couple episodes have been going, and if you feel like it's too dramatic or if we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, about Dan and Blair and Chuck and Blair, I was actually warming up to Dan and Blair.
See?
And
so was Roxy. by the way.
No, we have a major debate here at AfterBuzz. Here's how it goes. Roxy, as in myself, is a die-hard. I need Chuck and Blair to end up together. But that being said, I really did try to give Dan a chance. I was warming up to them a little bit. I liked their friendship so I could see where I was going. First, of course, Jessica, who loves Dan and Blair together and is a psychopath, and by that I mean a lovely, and Stephanie kind of falls back and forth in between.
I switch every episode. I
Yes.
feel like I'm undecided in all
So
this.
where do you stand now?
Well, I don't know, like, after seeing Chuck and Blair together for the past 2 episodes, like, I don't know, I'm a little obsessed with them. So I just love their dynamic together.
You're obsessed with
Chuck and Blair.
Chuck and Blair. Oh,
Yeah, Chuck and Blair.
thank freaking God.
Roxy's so
I mean,
happy
it
right
doesn't
now.
take a rocket scientist to figure out they have the most amazing chemistry together. When they are together, it seems like nothing else matters. Blair will drop anything in the world to be at Chuck's side. So it's clearly obvious that they are going to end up together eventually, but I do think it's important for them to test the waters and experience other things.
I get that.
Because their relationship has been so tumultuous in the past.
I get that, but I think it's no surprise. I mean, it's not a coincidence that all of a sudden the ratings are going down and Dan and Blair are rising. I mean,
That's just because
direct
of Gossip Girl
correlation.
in general. It's because they have ghosts and people coming from the dead. And like,
You're just like, it's over the top now.
yeah, it's just like jumped off a cliff.
I know we're jumping around all over the place, but while we have callers on the line, I wanted to get your guys' opinion on Diana in general. Is she somebody who can be trusted, or is she somebody who we feel like when she's gone, we feel safer watching Gossip Girl? I'm going to start with Eugene. What are you thinking?
I don't know. Like, I kind of like how Nate kind of let her go last episode. I thought it was sweet, but I don't know if we can, like, necessarily trust her.
Was she really interested in Nate? I mean, it seemed to me like she had actual feelings for him.
Yeah. No, I think she does, like, have feelings for him, and she cares about him, so.
Susie, what
I
are you
think the
thinking?
feeling's mutual.
Yeah, Susie, what are you thinking
Yeah,
about
me
it?
too. I agree with Jean. I mean, I think Diana actually liked Nate, which is kind of cute, but I like Lola and Nate together way better. But I kind of just want her to be gone. I mean, it was nice, like, having her back for a couple episodes and, like, seeing the drama, but, I mean, ultimately, I don't really care if she's there, like, next season or, like, you know, for the rest of the time.
You're
So,
not attached
I mean-
to her yet, you mean?
What?
You don't feel attached to her yet. You're not like,
Oh,
she
no.
doesn't come back.
No, she's not. She's not as bad as, like, Raina Thorpe last season, but she.
Oh my God, she sucked.
She's yeah, I know. Like, she's not like that level. She's like in between. Like, I don't know. I don't know where. I just don't really like her that much. Not as much as I hated Rena, but I mean, I don't know. I like her better than Charlie Ivy too.
Well, we were talking about this, and we just have to mention that scene with Charlie Ivy and Lola in the room together. What do we think? I mean, the two of them. How on earth can Lola be okay with Charlie Ivy?
That's what I was wondering the entire time. I was like, how are these girls, like, scheming together now?
And, like,
Didn't they-
giggling.
Yeah, they hated each other.
That's why we need to get rid of Charlie Ivy for good.
But she seems so sweet.
Yes.
She just wants to be part
But
of the
they
gang.
were like hilarious together, though. Like, I was actually laughing out loud.
I
at
thought it
them.
was funny, I know, and the two of them have a history, and I just feel like what I want is for the two of them to pick up and move to Oregon. You know, and have
Please, move away.
I want them to have a really happy life together elsewhere.
Off of the show.
As opposed
Out
to
of New
Raina,
York.
who I wanted to kind of
Die.
push into the ocean and have her drift away. And bad things happen to her. But Charlie Ivy, Lola, I want them to be happy, just not on my TV set.
Exactly.
Yeah, live a
I
separate
would be fine
life
with
away
that.
from Gossip
kinda
Girl.
how I'm
They went back
feeling.
to Max and lived happily ever after.
Exactly. And you know what? The three of them can get married. I believe that is
And take acting
allowed in
classes
progressive
together.
states. I'm just kidding. Okay, thank you guys so much for calling in. We're actually going to go to commercial now, and then we'll come back for some awesome news and gossip. But any last thoughts, starting with Eugene? Anything else you wanted to say about the show?
Can I talk about the last part of last episode?
Of
Yes,
course.
things are gonna go down.
Yeah, like, Oh my gosh, I can't believe Serena would do that. Like, put out Blair's diary. Like, I was just like, what? I was so surprised.
I know. We haven't even mentioned that, but what I don't understand is we see one line, and the line of the diary is, I have a feeling Chuck's about to tell me he loves me, but and then the rest is blacked out. And Gossip Girl says Serena sent it in, but I kind of have a feeling Serena didn't send it in. Why would Serena send that in knowing Gossip Girl would call her out? I feel like Gossip Girl's setting them up now because Gossip Girl's pissed at Serena for not giving the site back.
But she did get it back.
No, originally.
Oh.
You know, she only got it back because Nate had to scheme with Lola.
Yeah, I feel like she is going to go after Serena and Blair like no other.
I
And try
feel
to tear
like
them apart.
I agree with you that I don't think Serena may have sent it in, but I feel like Serena may have had it and was maybe going to use it on her own while she was Gossip Girl.
Then
Maybe
she
not to
didn't.
the extent to like completely tear apart Blair, but to some extent, and maybe part of when Lola stole some of their stuff and was trying to do everything she could to get Gossip Girl the site back. It was kind of like a bait, like, well, I have this or that or whatever. And so, it's definitely, I think that's exactly why we saw them getting closer this season and being best friends again, because it's just going to completely
Shit's going to hit the
go.
fan,
Yeah,
for lack of better
exactly.
words. Susie, what are you thinking about this? About the diary entry?
About that. It was just so annoying how Blair and Serena, like, they were fine for 2 episodes. It was great to see them, like, friends and stuff. And next episode, like, it's going to be bad.
We see them and they're
I
like,
just want to see them friends again.
I know. We see them and they're like, you're my best
It's
friend.
like the
Always
worst
have
pair of
been.
best friends I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, you both need to get a new best friend at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm done with this.
Any
I'm done with it.
takers?
Okay, so thank you guys so much for calling in, and hopefully we'll hear from both of you next week.
Thank you.
Yes,
Have a good
definitely.
night.
Can't wait.
Bye.
XOXO.
XOXO.
Roxy,
Okay.
I think that is the coolest thing ever. I just wanted to comment on it because one girl, well, obviously the one that calls all the time, Susie, she tweeted us saying she stopped her 10-page paper because she was just tired of it and wanted to come to AfterBuzz and do the Gossip Girl conversation. And then that other girl also, she was like, I wanted to call for so long. I was a little bit nervous, but I could talk about Gossip Girl forever. That is just a cool AfterBuzz comment, in my opinion.
It is very
Totally.
cool, and it's awesome. And honestly, people tweet at me all the time, and they say, oh, I listen to your show, and I have so much to say. And I tweet back saying,
Call us.
Call in. And they're like, oh, my God, no, you wouldn't want to hear what I had to say on air. I do.
We want to hear
I do wanna
everything.
hear.
It's
We
just
love
crazy.
opinions. We love hearing from our fans.
But we're a fan network. That's what we do. We want to hear from you. So.
Yeah, like who doesn't want to talk about TV, about your favorite show, like in depth?
And with us.
And with these 3 pretty girls.
Especially when I'm saying the show is so freaking confusing that you got to talk about it or you're never going to get your questions answered.
Exactly.
We can help each other.
Yeah.
Help
Help
us
me
help
help
each
you.
other.
Like a 12-step program. All right.
That's the Jerry
Cool.
Maguire comment now. Help us help each other. Okay, so we're going to cut to commercial, but when we come back, hopefully I'll be able to sprint around and find our news and gossip. And then, of course, we've got a lot of predictions to make, so stick with us.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
What do you want to buzz
Okay,
about?
I will tell you what I want to buzz about. Sorry that I'm actually not plugging Mac computers, believe it or not, just reading from my laptop. So here we go.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Gossip Girl, as we said before, is not doing so well. Monday's episode was one of the lowest rated to date, only scooping up 870,000 total viewers.
So sad.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Despite the embarrassing ratings, the network is rumored to be renewing the show for a short final season.
That's what I'm hearing as well. I heard an interview with Chase Crawford, I think, when he was promoting his new film, and he was mentioning that he thinks they're going to do about 13 episodes next year, and that he was kind of sad to leave the family that they've now had for 5-6 seasons.
It's also... Oh, go ahead.
I think that CW in general is kind of struggling, because I did read that their premiere of their new show, The LA Complex, had the lowest ratings in history. Like, and they had to do an encore episode, and it still had really low ratings. And so I think they're really kind of...
I remember I was talking to Ronnie about this earlier in the week, and Ronnie was like, you know, CW hasn't really announced that any of their shows are coming back.
I think Vampire Diaries is it so
And
far.
yeah, and potentially the reason they're doing this is to try to get people watching to make them come back, Ronnie, right? That was what your
I
thoughts
mean,
were?
it's an honest question. I know it's like, oh, these shows. The only one they said is coming back for sure was Top Model initially. Then, yes, Vampire Diaries. But, like, could it be stunting? I don't want to say that, but, like, possibly it could be. And, you know, you have everyone going in an uproar. Gossip Girl better show up. You know, the blogs go crazy. It's a good tactic, CW, possibly.
Yeah, and I think they have, you know, they're probably having like an emergency revamp right now. You know, for me, like working at a TV network, I know when our ratings drop, it's like a huge meeting is called, and we have to immediately figure out like what we're gonna do, how we're gonna raise them back, and so they're probably definitely freaking out right now.
And my friends in publicity are always telling me that like they feel that the CW used to be kind of exclusive for that young female demographic, and now you have ABC Family with Pretty Little Liars and those types of shows coming in on that demographic, and that's why it's kind of dropping.
The bottom line is, though, they're getting under 1 million. I mean, come on, guys.
That's
we got to
sad.
step it up. The only good news is every single one of the people who's still watching the show is clearly a super fan. So that's good for us.
Yeah, and you have to even count, like, I have Gossip Girl on regular DVR, and I know that that counts on ratings, but I didn't even watch it on my DVR. I watched it online. So I'm, like, giving them ratings that they're still, like, low, you know?
Actually, though, I mean, I tape it in every single room. Like, I want them to do okay, you know?
Yeah.
So hopefully we can step up our game. But a little bit of a blast from the past here in some of our news and gossip. We've got Little J and Eric Vanderwoodson on-screen relationship, which they're saying is comparable to their real-life friendship between the former Gossip Girl stars Taylor Momsen and Connor Paulo. While both went out on to pursue new endeavors while leaving the CW, for Momsen, a worldwide tour with her rock band, The Pretty Reckless, and for Paulo, a job on ABC's
Revenge, the best show on TV right now.
Which, you can't say that to a Gossip Girl show.
One up.
But anyway, the duo remained close-knit pals. During an October performance at the Palladium in Los Angeles, Paulo said that he heard cheering.
Cheering.
You know what?
Use your words, Roxy.
I knew I should have had you read
Sound
this.
it out.
Paulo was cheering loudly from the VIP section as Momsen hit the stage with her band. He said, quote, "She's been one of my really close friends for years now," to The Hollywood Reporter. He continued on saying, "It's been a relatively long friendship as far as my life goes, and honestly, I think I'd go to her shows even if I didn't know who she was. I love her band." It's hysterical that, like, just my 2 cents for a second on Hollywood relationships. I mean, the fact that 5 years is, like, the longest relationship.
Yeah. Seriously.
It's humorous.
She's the longest friend I've ever had.
It's funny. That being said, I know we bash on her all the time, Taylor Momsen, but her music is really, really good. And she's very talented. He also went on to talk about how if he was ever to be a director, he would love to cast her because he thinks she's unbelievably talented actress.
Yeah,
she is a talented actress, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen her full potential on Gossip Girl at all. I think that she seems like she could have a much wider range than that.
Right. But going on about him for a little bit, we are wondering if he's going to come back, and he talks about it, and he says, "It's quite possible for me to do so, being on the West Coast and doing Revenge, even just down to the legalities." He explains, but later he says, "You're contracted to one network. It's not easy to show up on another network, so it was never about me not wanting to be there, more about me not being able to be there. But we can't count him out yet because," he says, "it's much more dependent on the writers of Gossip Girl calling me and going, we've got to get you back, man." Then it's a discussion.
Gotta get you back, man.
We gotta get you back, man. Then it will be a discussion. But am I calling them incessantly and going, I need to be back for the finale? No.
Love your voices.
I gotta be back.
Good read on that.
Bring me back on the show, man.
Come on, man. Come on. Let's do it. I mean, obviously.
Understood.
Networks.
I mean, he's on a really successful show right now, so I don't think he's begging to come back on to Gossip Girl.
Right.
Especially with their ratings and the way that they're doing and the obvious reasons that they're probably going to be ending soon. So, I mean,
it's also from what I hear, his role on Revenge is like this studly, awesome guy, and his role on Gossip Girl is so different that if he's trying to push his career one way or the other, right now this is how people are going to see him. So maybe he's trying to go one way.
he's definitely a completely opposite character of what he plays in Gossip Girl. And he has a lot more airtime, too. Like, in Gossip Girl, I never really considered him a main character. He had that one season where he had a boyfriend and he was kind of, like, teaming up with Dan and whatnot. But I think, I mean, he's going totally in the right direction right now for his career. So.
I agree. Moving on, though, to Leighton Meester, who announced on Twitter last month that she will hit the road for a mini music tour. 4 of the shows will be located in the U.S., and lucky Canadian fans can catch her in concert for one tour date. She tweeted saying, "Looky, my official, looky, my official tour schedule. Seattle, Vancouver, Portland, San Francisco, and Anaheim. Here we come." Meester wrote on her Twitter account saying that, along with a photo of the tour schedule. So, are we gonna get tickets to her Anaheim show?
I gotta say, when she released her first album, I didn't love it. I did like her song with Starship Cobra Cobra Starship or whatever.
Yeah,
that was catchy. It's like you hear it in the
Thicke.
club or whatever. But other than that, just her solo songs were they didn't stand out to me. I'm sorry.
I completely agree. I think she has a lovely voice, and I think she makes a great featured artist. But I don't know about her solo music right now.
But she looked gorgeous at the Met Gala last night, so she has that going for her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they all were looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So. Okay, moving on. This kind of bumps us a little bit into predictions, but who knows what will trigger this one. But on next week's season finale, we can definitely expect a fight between the Chuck and Blair, plus a possible... What's going on in the booth?
We can hear you guys.
Ronnie, are you talking to us?
Ronnie Junior Media.
I was just thinking about you, but you could hear it.
Thinking out loud.
Thinking out loud.
Anyway, okay, so there's a possible fight between Chuck and Blair, plus a possible Serena reunion. Will Dan cheat on Blair with Serena? Well, from this new Canadian promo, and you guys have to watch this, the new Canadian promo, which clearly gives too much away, and I watched it, and oh my God, does it. Chuck gets into a fight with Blair while telling her, "I don't want to be Mr. Blair Waldorf. I am Chuck Bass." And Dan
Wait, Chuck says that to Blair?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
okay.
And Dan, we watched Dan cheating on Blair with Serena.
I saw that for a
OMG,
split second.
send me that link.
I absolutely will. I mean, we will talk about this in predictions. Let's wrap out. That's your news and gossip for the week of May 8th, 2012.
The biggest new media platform.
And now.
We're going crazy in the booth. That's okay. We're going crazy out here too. So we got that. Now we know there's gonna be a fight. I don't know. Maybe it looked like Blair was trying to get Chuck back, and Chuck was the one backing away. It looked like Serena was hooking up with Dan, and that Blair was trying to do some recon. And Serena, she was like, "Tell me everything you know about Serena. Gotta know everything." Talking to some PI person.
Ooh, who said that?
Blair.
Sorry, I gotta rely on you guys because for the life of me, I do not know why they don't
This
show.
wasn't in scenes from the next week. This was in an online promo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Well, still, they don't show scenes for next week on the online episodes. So, CW people, if you're listening, I'd like to know what's gonna happen next week. Just because I'm watching online doesn't mean I don't get to see.
they just think you're less of a fan because you're watching online, and it's like, no, my life is just totally busy, and I'm watching online.
Watching it in between breaks at work.
Can't you tell what a wonderful actress I am with all the voices? It's bad, guys. It's bad. My voices
We
have
have lots of
taken hold.
voices on this show today.
I like it.
We do. Any other predictions, Diana?
I mean, like I said, I don't
That's
think
not
she's
me
gone
calling
for
you
good.
guys Diana. That's me saying.
Diana? No. I
Diana,
don't think she's
Diana.
gone for good, but I wish she was, but I'm sad that she's not. So
No,
we'll
I
see.
think we're gonna see more of her. Absolutely.
Is Charlie Ivy going to be able to get back in with the gang?
No.
I think they're not done either. I think it's gonna be interesting to see.
I'd be happy if I never saw her again.
I just have to say, though, unfortunately, I will not be here next week because I will I'll be on the other coast, but you guys will do an incredible job covering the show. It's the finale. If I can, I'll try to call in to talk to you guys.
Better call.
So
Yeah, that would be
I'll do my
fun.
very, very best. But in the meantime, if I want to talk to you, if fans want to talk to you, where the hell can I get a hold of you?
At Stephanie Wenger, keeping it simple.
Hit me up at I am Jessica King.
At Roxy Striar. And until next week, XOXO, baby. XOXO.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you later. XOXO.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.